bull and elder of the herd is a monumental creature of pure, raw muscle. His horns a dense, sweeping helmet of fused bone, earned over 2 decades of unrelenting existence. His coat is matted with mud and dust, a testament to a life spent defying the elements. He is not magnificent in the way of a lion or a cheetah. He is magnificent in his sheer, unyielding will. He stands not alone, but as the forward point of a living, breathing fortress of his kind. The herd, 100 strong, has instinctively executed the defensive strategy honed over millennia. The young and the vulnerable are driven into the impenetrable center. The older, stronger bulls form an outer, crescent-shaped wall, a palisade of horn and rage. This is the Fortaleza Vivient del Bufalo, the living fortress of the buffalo, and it is designed to defy the ultimate law of the predator.
The great American bison.
Facing this wall of black fury
Once
is the
hunted
pride. Not a full pride, but a strike force. 3 lionesses and a magnificent male, their golden coats blending effortlessly with the twilight grasses. They are hunger incarnate, masters of calculated risk, and they know that behind the wall lies a weakness, a calf. The tension is a tangible pressure in the air, a silent contract between predator and prey. The lionesses, sleek and low, circle with the patience of professional assassins, their eyes locked on the weak points, using the tall, dry grass as an unreliable cloak. They are whispering among themselves, not with sound, but with the subtle shift of a tail, the angle of a crouch, a glance that transmits a lifetime of hunting strategy. Suddenly, the lead lioness commits. She executes a lightning-fast feint towards the right flank, drawing the attention of 2 younger bulls. It's a calculated distraction. But before she can complete her arc, the elder bull, the monumental defender, erupts. He doesn't charge with senseless abandon. He lowers his colossal head, drives the great boss of his horns forward, and launches a thunderous counterattack that is pure, primal defiance. The collision is a shockwave that rips through the quiet savanna. It is the sound of bone meeting bone, of a ton of power meeting an equal weight of aggression. The lioness, quick as a striking serpent, manages to swerve at the last fraction of a second. But the bull's will is so great, so absolute, that his charge is not just physical. It is a declaration, a challenge to the very reign of the lion of Africa Oriental. The confrontation we just witnessed is merely a single note in a grand, perpetual symphony played out under the African sun. Welcome to the Serengeti, a name that echoes with the sound of survival, a theater under the infinite sun where the line between life and death is razor thin and constantly crossed. This is not a landscape, it is a crucible. The golden stage is set by the undulating plains, a vast canvas that stretches beyond the limits of human comprehension, where the sky is an enormous, unblinking eye. Every single blade of the high, golden dry grass is a potential shroud, concealing both the terrifying danger of the apex predators and the fragile, fleeting hope of the prey. The Serengeti is an ancient, implacable field of trials. It is a place of uncompromising law, where sentiment holds no currency and weakness is punished with brutal swiftness. This majestic cruelty is what makes it beautiful, for in its vastness, every creature is stripped bare, reduced to the purest essence of existence, survival. Each new dawn is not a peaceful waking, but a trumpet call announcing the start of a new, ferocious contention for a place in the next sunset. Every flicker of an ear, every misplaced step, every gasp of a panting breath is a commitment to the deadly dance. sun, that eternal overseer, acts as an anvil on which life is constantly forged and reforged. It drives the growth that feeds the herbivores, and the heat that forces them toward the water sources, where the predators lie in ambush. The very weather is a character in this drama, demanding resilience, rewarding vigilance, and ensuring that only the most robust and the most cunning will endure to pass on their specific, brilliant adaptations. To understand the Serengeti, one must understand its builders. The Great Plains are not simply there. They are meticulously engineered and maintained by the sheer force and habits of its colossal inhabitants. The largest of these architects, the majestic Elefante Africano, carries the heavy, crucial title of ecosystem engineer. Watch them move. It is a slow, deliberate form of violence that creates life. As they traverse the landscape, they utilize their massive size not for aggression, but for reshaping. They effortlessly clear thickets and uproot trees, turning dense bush into open savanna, a process that creates vital new grazing lands for smaller herbivores. These are the living bulldozers whose destruction is, paradoxically, the genesis of new biodiversity. But their most vital contribution lies in their great wisdom and power. With their immense strength and astonishing memory, they excavate pozos de agua vitals, deep, temporary wells dug into dried riverbeds with their trunks and enormous feet. These wells, often miles from permanent water, become a critical oasis, a lifeline for entire populations of smaller species who lack the strength or the knowledge to reach the deeper reserves. The elephant, in its silent wisdom, is sharing its sustenance, ensuring the survival of the entire community through its memory and power. Contrast this majestic, deliberate action with the sheer, unrelenting presence of the Buffalo Africano African buffalo. These animals, which we saw in the opening, are not builders. They are maintainers. They are the pruners of the wild. Moving in vast, compact, mobile manadas, their constant feeding action acts like a giant, coordinated mowing machine. They graze the tall, coarse grasses, preventing the dense scrub from reclaiming the plains. Furthermore, their continuous movement, the ceaseless tramp of their powerful hooves, breaks up the surface soil, scattering seeds and fertilizing the ground with their waste. The buffalo, through its necessity to eat and move, ensures the equilibrio y el movimiento del paisage, natural balance and movement of the natural landscape, keeping the vast migratory corridors open and vital. The elephant and the buffalo. One creates the opportunity, the other keeps the door open. Survival in the Serengeti is a competition between sheer power and specialized efficiency. Two predators, the guepardo and the hyena manchata, exemplify the opposite ends of this tactical spectrum. The guepardo cheetah is a masterpiece of ephemeral speed, the track and field champion of the savannah. Its body is a coiled spring, a living arrow defined by an astonishing velocity that makes every hunt a brief, glorious, and precarious gamble. Its survival is staked entirely on an explosive, high-adrenaline sprint, a kinetic marvel that can achieve breathtaking speeds in mere seconds. But this explosive burst is fleeting. It is ephemeral. It cannot be sustained. The cheetah is built for speed, not stamina, and not fighting. The heat generated during its burst of speed can overwhelm its system, demanding a critical period of recovery after a successful takedown. This vulnerability is the predator's fatal flaw. The successful hunt is only the beginning of the danger. It is here, in the moment of weakness, that the hyena manchata, spotted hyena, enters the scene. They are the antithesis of the cheetah's refined speed. They are the masters of persistence. The hyena is often mistakenly relegated to the role of a mere scavenger, but this is a gross misunderstanding of their formidable prowess. The spotted hyena is a relentless, intelligent, and highly social cazadora formidable hunter. They are the marathon runners of the Serengeti, capable of jogging their victims into exhaustion over vast distances. When they hunt in their coordinated groups, they utilize a strategy of agitamiento, exhaustion, and sheer, democratic persistence, bringing down prey that a single, less resilient predator would never dare to approach. Where the cheetah must win its prey through a single, spectacular act of speed, the hyena wins its sustenance through cooperation and endurance. Even when scavenging, their role is crucial. Their powerful jaws are engineered to triturar husos, crush bones, consuming virtually every part of a carcass, thereby cleaning the terrain and minimizing the spread of disease. They are the efficient, necessary cleanup crew, the alchemists of decay, turning what others abandon into fuel for their own powerful, resilient existence. The cheetah hunts with grace. The hyena hunts with an ugly, relentless success, proving that in the wild, survival favors the pragmatic over the poetic. Amidst the endless, shimmering expanse of golden grass, islands of stone jut up from the earth like the fists of a buried giant. These are the Kopjes, pronounced Kopjes, ancient granite outcroppings that defy the flatness of the savanna, creating their own microecosystems. These accidental fortresses are havens, providing shade, shelter, and a crucial change in terrain. This rugged, multi-dimensional terrain is the perfect domain for the most elusive and strategically sophisticated of the great cats, the leopard. The leopard is the master of silent lethality and perfect geometry. Unlike the lion, which relies on the power of the pride, or the cheetah, which relies on raw velocity, the leopard depends entirely on intellect and stealth. Its rosette-patterned coat is the ultimate camouflage, allowing it to become a living part of the rock face, a flickering shadow in the dappled sunlight. The Kopjes offer the ideal vantage point and the prey within them, like the agile Daman Requero rock hyrax, a small guinea pig-like creature, are often caught off guard. The leopard doesn't chase, it ambushes.
Raises her trunk,
it uses the dramatic
the
interplay of
and
Luce's
emitting
Sombra's light and shadow to erase its outline, waiting with an almost infinite patience until its victim is precisely where it needs to be for a single, final, decisive strike.
Grunt.
The ingenuity of the leopard does not end with the kill. In a landscape governed by theft and opportunism, the leopard must ensure the security of its hard-won meal. It utilizes its astonishing, powerful musculature to drag its carcass, often heavier than itself, up into the branches of the acacia trees that grow among the Kopjes. High above the ground, safe from the scavenging eyes of the hyenas and the prying curiosity of the lions, the leopard can feed in solitary, silent peace, proving that true dominance sometimes comes not from raw power, but from calculated, solitary intelligence.
The shimmering heat of the midday sun.
The savanna demands extreme adaptation, especially when the rains fail. We now move to the semi-arid lands of the Ndutu region, a critical juncture for the Great Migrations and a relentless testing ground for every resident creature. This is where the law is reduced to two primary forces: speed and endurance. Here in the heat-shimmering, desolate expanse, the Velocidad es la única defensa, speed is the only defense for the fleet-footed Gazelles, Gazelles. Their survival is a miracle of physics. They are perpetually on edge, their large, luminous eyes constantly scanning the horizon, ready to transition from a resting position to a full, life-saving sprint in a heartbeat. Their defense is not confrontation or camouflage, but the absolute commitment to flight. Their very physiology is built for maximum lift and evasion. They are pursued by the resident leones del Hondo, lions of the hollows, a tough, adapted population that embodies the hardship of the Ndutu plains. These are not the well-fed pride of the river systems. They are leaner, harder, their patience stretched thin by the relentless heat and the scarcity of water. They have developed specific adaptations physicas, physical adaptations, that allow them to endure the punishing drought, surviving on less and stalking with an even deeper level of predatory cunning. They have learned that the gazelle's speed is a burst, and they hunt by exploiting the creature's need to pause, to feed, to let its guard down for a single, fatal moment. And again, in this harsh landscape, the hyenas manchadas are introduced, demonstrating their ultimate mastery of this unforgiving ecosystem. They are the maestros de la resistencia, masters of resistance. Their ability to cope with water scarcity is legendary, drawing what moisture they can from the bone and tissue of their kills, allowing them to remain active and formidable when other creatures are immobilized by heat and dehydration. Their strength lies not just in their physical prowess, but in their absolute commitment to the chase. They can tirelessly recour grandes distances, travel great distances, functioning as a unified pack, capable of covering dozens of miles in a single night. When water is scarce, they are the ones who thrive, capable of exploiting every available resource, using their powerful ability to triturar huesos, crush bones, to extract every last nutrient. A powerful, grim reminder that true resilience is born in the willingness to embrace the undesirable. When the great rains retreat, the vast, expansive Serengeti begins to contract. The water recedes, the grasses wither, and the entire gravitational pull of existence centers on the last, enduring sources of life, the humidales, wetlands, and the surviving water holes. This is the oasis de los pantanos, and during the peak of the dry season, it is the most crowded, most vibrant, and most dangerous place in the entire savanna. Life here is a study in convivencia tensa pero vibrante, tense but vibrant coexistence. Every creature is bound by a shared, desperate need for the vital, life-sustaining liquid, yet the laws of the wild are never suspended. The constant proximity of predator and prey creates a perpetual, high-stakes standoff. From the heights, the elegant, stately figures of the giraffes Maasai act as the living sentinels. Their incredible height gives them a supreme vantage point. They are the early warning system of the ecosystem. They monitor not just the land, but also the air, their long necks allowing them to survey threats that remain invisible to the creatures below. Their presence offers a subtle layer of security to the surrounding animals, a shared vigilance based on the common need to survive the drought.
From this termite mound, the cheetah uses its keen eyesight to scan for prey. The midday sun beats down on the dry earth.
The water channels themselves are dominated by the unmoving, terrifying law of the hippopotamus, hippos. These creatures, often underestimated, impose their colossal force and immense bulk on the water. The channels are their domain. They are the aquatic architects of the oasis, maintaining the depth of the waterways and defending their territories with a sudden, shocking violence that belies their apparent lethargy. Their presence keeps the flow of the ecosystem stable, yet their power makes them dangerous to all, including other heavyweights. Above, around, and within this oasis, a spectacular Variedad de Aves variety of birds turns the place into a dynamic, cacophonous comedor dinamico dynamic dining hall. Egrets, herons, storks, and kingfishers all exploit the rich concentrations of food and moisture,
I think this
turning
is a great
the air
spot
into
to
a
take some
living,
pictures.
moving tapestry of color and motion. This convergence demonstrates the
What do you think of
ultimate
this one?
truth. In the African dry season,
breathtaking.
el agua se convierte en el centro
At
gravitational de la
twilight, the savanna
existencia.
becomes a stage
Water
for
becomes the
survival.
gravitational
The
center
leopard,
of
a
existence.
creature of stealth,
Life
begins its hunt.
concentrates, the stakes increase, and the drama unfolds in compressed, explosive bursts around the remaining vital resource. While the other predators are specialists, the cheetah of speed, the leopard of stealth, the hyena of persistence, the Leon de Africa Oriental East African lion is the generalization of power, the very embodiment of the savanna's authority. This region boasts the mayor concentración de ejemplares del planeta, highest concentration of specimens on the planet, and this density ensures their absolute dominance. The lion's reign is a testament to coordination and social strategy. Alone, a lion is a powerful hunter. As a pride, it is an unstoppable, perfectly organized machine. Their survival is entirely dependent on their coordinación grupal group coordination to achieve the impossible, the calculated strategic takedown of presses gigantescas, gigantic prey, that would be far beyond the capability of any solitary cat, a giraffe, a massive buffalo, or a large zebra. Their hunting strategy is a masterpiece of applied physics and psychological warfare. They utilize the landscape, the wind, and the position of the sun to execute complex multi-flanked ambushes. One group drives the prey, another lies in wait, utilizing the cover of the terrain to deliver the final devastating blow. Their power is not just in their claws and teeth, it is in their unity, the shared purpose and synchronized action of the group. But the most potent tool in their arsenal is not a physical one, it is sound. The rugido roar of the male lion is presented not merely as a sound, but as a canto ancestral de Victoria y Advertencia, ancestral song of victory and warning. It is a seismic declaration of ownership, a sonic map laid over the territory that announces their autoridad indisputable authority to all within earshot. It is a biological signature that dictates the movement and behavior of every other animal in the region, a resonant frequency that carries the history of countless successful hunts. The lion's roar is the sound of the law, and its echo across the vast plains is the daily affirmation of the African food chain. If the lion's power is in its coordination, the elephant's enduring strength lies in its memory and its unity. Their social structure is one of the most sophisticated in the animal kingdom, built entirely around the wisdom of the female leadership. The herds are steered not by the largest or the strongest, but by the Crucibles, wise matriarchs. These elder females are the living repositories of the herd's history and its future. They custodian la memoria de las rutas migratorias, guard the memory of the migratory routes, a vast, complex mental map passed down through generations. These maps contain the location of every permanent water source, the timing of the rains, and the position of every crucial ancient elephant web. In a landscape that changes constantly, the matriarch's memory is the difference between life and mass death. Their commitment to one another is absolute. This is beautifully, dramatically illustrated when the pride attempts to breach their unity. We can recall an episode of intense tension where a stealthy manada de leons, pride of lions, attempts to isolate a lone young cria, calf, the preferred, easier target. The lions attempt the classic strategy of cutting the calf off from the protective circle, but the attempt is met with the furia protectora de la mater, protective fury of the mother, and the immediate, coordinated response of the surrounding family units. The elephants do not panic. They form a tight, impenetrable defensive ring. The matriarch and the calf's mother charge, not just with weight, but with calculated rage. Their massive ears flare, their trunks trumpeting a sound that is pure, high-volume threat. The lions, masters of risk assessment, know that a serious confrontation with an enraged elephant is a losing battle. They are repelled by the sheer, unified presence and the mother's absolute commitment. This display underlines the truth about these gentle giants. Their true fus erratica and su intelligentia, y union familiar, strength lies in their intelligence and family unity. The elephant is a reminder that in life, memory, wisdom, and the bonds of family are often the most powerful weapons of all. The ultimate trial of the Serengeti is not the drought or the hunter, it is the real mark. The annual Grand Migration, millions of wildebeest and zebra must cross this final, colossal barrier to reach the fresh grazing grounds. This is the story's peak, the moment of climax dramatico. The banks are a scene of utter bewildered chaos. The air is thick with the scent of fear, the dust is a choking cloud, and the low, collective moan of millions of anxious animals creates a sound that is part thunder, part prayer. They surge at the water's edge, hesitating, pushed forward by the immense, non-negotiable pressure of the hungry masses behind them. The river itself is a character, a dark, fast-flowing predator. But el verdadero terror reside bajo la superficie. The true terror resides beneath the surface. The cocodrilos del Nilo, Nile Crocodiles. These ancient, cold-blooded reptiles are the river's living, silent law. They have waited for this single, explosive week all year, storing their immense energy, perfectly camouflaged in the murky, fast-moving currents. Finally, a few desperate animals commit. The wave breaks and the chaotic crossing begins. It is an act of sheer collective will against fate. The narrative captures the horrifying beauty of the moment. The water churns to foam, the air fills with the bellowing of panic, and the violence is explosive. The attacks are swift, sudden, and devastating, driven by the crocodile's ancient, inescapable hunger. The river becomes a feeding frenzy, a terrifying vortex of life and sudden, violent death. Yet, even in this scene of brutal loss, the ecosystem holds its balance. The crossing is a terrible triage. Those who are too weak, too slow, or simply unlucky are culled, ensuring that only the strongest, most genetically robust individuals make it to the other side to continue the journey. And the dead, their loss is the river's gain. Their bodies become the sustento del ecosystem, of fluvial sustenance of the fluvial ecosystem, feeding the crocodiles, the scavengers on the bank, the insects, and the very soil. The muerto algunos se convierte en el sustento, death of some becomes the sustenance, closing the cycle natural with a final, brutal, and necessary act. Survival is collective, and the death of an individual is a sacrifice to the persistence of the whole. We leave the colossal dramas of the plains for a moment to explore the mastery of a different domain. The laws of the savannah are also written in the air, but they require specialized tools. The halcon gris, gray falcon, is the script's shift from brute force and coordination to precision and maneuverability. This falcon is not built for the wide-open, high-altitude attacks of its larger kin. It is a creature diseñado para la maniobrabilidad en espacios cerrados, designed for maneuverability in closed spaces. Its body is compact, its wings shorter and broader, allowing it to navigate the treacherous, cluttered environment of the middle canopy forest, where a single miscalculation means death by branch. It is the phantom hunter of the mid-forest. The gray falcon domina el dorsal medio dominates the middle canopy, using the dense foliage as both cover and its hunting ground. Its technique relies entirely on sigillo y la sorpresa, stealth and surprise. It flies low, a silent blur through the green tunnels, utilizing the visual noise of the leaves to break up its form, appearing only at the absolute last moment before the strike. It is a terrifying lesson in applied physics and stealth, a predator that wins its meal by being invisible until the instant of impact. But the story of this bird is not only about the hunt. High in the safety of the hollow trees, the phantom hunter demonstrates a gentler, more profound side, its parental commitment. The falcon is meticulous in its care, feeding its cria's chicks in the ultimate seguridad de los árboles huecos, security of the hollow trees. The deadly assassin becomes the careful provider, a testament to the fact that even the most lethal of nature's creations must commit fully to the nurturing of the next generation. We have seen the elephant's architectural wisdom, the buffalo's indomitable will, the lion's unified power, the cheetah's fleeting glory, and the eagle's absolute mastery. What does this grand, merciless drama teach us, the observers, watching from the safety of our structured world? The wild demands that we be vigilant, adaptable, and unified. It teaches us that every sunrise is a fresh start, a new chance to prove our worth, and that nothing is guaranteed except the opportunity to fight for the next day. If the unbreakable codes of the wild fascinate you as much as they do us, do not let the next chapter of this ancient story pass you by. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel,